Welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use on your next real estate transaction. You know, school has started back, so this week we're doing things a little bit different. We've been talking to some local superintendents to see how the new school year's going and see how they've been working to get ready for the new school year. Lots of exciting things going on, so we've been talking to some superintendents. In this last segment, we're going to be talking to the new superintendent of Spring ISD. And before we do that, I want to remind you of our call-in number. So if you've got a real estate question, we're going to be back to talking real estate next Sunday. You can call in your real estate questions at 281-882-8088, and we'll be happy to answer those right here on the air every Sunday between 11 and noon, 281-882-8088. All right, I've got Dr. Rodney Watson here in the studio with me. He is the newest superintendent. He's the superintendent of Spring ISD, and was a much-needed change for Spring ISD, so I know that there are a lot of families out there really excited to have him and his new vision coming into the district, making some wonderful changes, and I know all the students are excited about the changes going on as well, and the staff, so it's very exciting to have you here in the studio with me, so welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
And we're happy you're in Texas, because I know you're not from Texas. So.
Yes, I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri area, but definitely excited about being here in Texas.
Very good. And you were in Houston. You've been in Houston for a while because you work for Houston ISD?
Yes.
So tell me about your vision for this school year and the school years going forward in spring. I know you're making a lot of great changes.
Well, we're really excited about the year that's going on right now. We actually have three main goals, three main priorities that we're focusing on this year. The first goal is student achievement, of course. The second goal is safety and community. And the third goal being communications. We are going to be working hand in hand with our community and all of our business partners to ensure that we are doing exactly what we need to do to make sure all of our kids are learning. This year's theme is Reaching for Excellence, the start of a new beginning. And so we're really taking this opportunity to build some momentum within our schools as well as our community to get some energy out there. If you haven't heard yet, if you go to Twitter account for excellence, hashtag for excellence, we're tweeting everything we can tweet about all the excellent opportunities that are going on in spring in all of our schools.
Well, I am so excited about it because I moved here about 10 years ago. Okay. And when I moved here, I didn't have children yet. And everybody said, Spring's a great district, it's where you want to live. And as we've lived here, we've seen things happen where some of the other districts have risen above ours. And it's been very discouraging as a homeowner. And so to see that the tide is finally changing, finally turning, that the things are looking up for Spring ISD after the tragedies we've had and some of the miscommunications in the district. I'm just really excited that you're taking that step forward and moving the district forward.
Most definitely.
It's very exciting. So I know you've got a big district. Tell us how large it is, how many schools?
So we have about 36 schools, and we have a little over 36,000 students. We're actually looking at our numbers right now to determine our growth. We believe that we've grown this year. We're going to finalize our count this Friday, but based upon our current projections, we've also experienced some increases in our student enrollment this year.
So how many students do you have right now?
About 36,000 students.
That's a lot of kids to keep up with.
That's a lot of kids, a lot of kids. But we're up to the challenge.
I know you are, and that's a lot of kids to educate.
Most
and
definitely.
Education is such an important role right now for their lives to get them ready for the future. It seems like you just can't have enough education these days.
You can't.
So y'all have an amazing opportunity in the Spring School District because of Exxon moving in.
Yes.
Tell me about how y'all are taking advantage of that as a school district.
So we're extremely excited about ExxonMobil moving in. We know that that's definitely going to increase our tax base, which means we'll be able to provide more services for students and families within our district. In addition to that, we're excited because we're at the cusp of talking about a future bond. And within that growth, it provides opportunities for us to look at how we educate kids. What are some best practices in terms of the way schools are designed? What's best practices in terms of technology and other resources that we can use to accentuate student learning? So we're excited about this relationship. We know that it also brings new families and new students into our schools. And so as new families and new students move into our community, we want to make sure that they have options, they have choices, but then also that they feel happy and excited about what they're going to receive as a result of being in Spring ISD.
And you have some spring private schools as well that you have to be in communication with and coordinate with. Tell us about your private schools in your district.
So As it relates to Texas Education Code, we're required to make sure that we provide all of our private school students, as a local education agency, we're required to make sure that we provide them support. And so what we always do is, as individuals reach out to us and ask for support, whether that be through formal partnerships or informal partnerships, we work with them because it is our responsibility to make sure that all kids are educated to high standards. And if that means sharing curriculum, if that means sharing resources, if that means opening up our doors so teachers can have training, we're open and willing to do whatever we need to do to support.
That sounds very good. All right, let's talk a little bit about your energy, because I know you've got a lot of energy. You've been out walking. Tell us about some of your opportunities you've had out in the community. You've been out walking to get students back in school. Is that right?
Most definitely. Last Saturday, we were extremely amazed at the number of people that turned out. We had over 530 volunteers that came out to support Spring ISD to go out and reclaim and find our students that, for whatever reason, did not show up to school this year or were in jeopardy for not graduating or did not. When we were going out to homes, we found students that had completed all of their coursework but only needed to take one test to graduate. And we were able to talk with them and with other community leaders and bring them back to school, get them registered right there on the spot. It was an amazing event. It built a lot of community from our parents and other business leaders who walked with us. But more importantly, it brought back a sense of pride with the faculty and staff in Spring ISD, us working together hand in hand, going out looking for our kids, wanting to make sure that our students were receiving the best.
That is very exciting. You know, I have never heard of a school district doing this, and I just think it's so exciting that you went door to door and just really took hold of them and welcomed them back and helped them to get back ingrained in the culture, because that's got to be a hard thing for a student who has made the decision they don't want to finish school for whatever reason, to get them back in. What do you find is the main reason why they didn't come back to school this year?
I think kids decided not to come back for a variety of reasons. Some students, however fortunate or unfortunate, found themselves in situations that prevented them either having a child. Some students were working, trying to support their family, and so they stopped or did not come back to school because of jobs. And so it was our responsibility to meet them where they were and not put them back in the same situation that caused them not to come back in the first place. But if it was a child care issue, we work with them to locate daycares and places that they could take their kids so they could come back to school. In addition to that, we're looking at other resources that we can develop in the evenings, more like a twilight program where students that work during the day, they can come to school in the evening and still get their credits so they can graduate.
That is fantastic. And I know you walk the neighborhoods as well, just to hear people's voice. I mean, you've really been listening. What has been the greatest need that you have heard from the community for Spring ISD? What the parents want, what the teachers want? What's been the greatest need?
I would say the needs have definitely transitioned into the three priorities that we've developed this year. We definitely know that there's a need for us to increase student achievement. It's always an area that should be all districts' number one priority. And so we're putting support systems and programs in place. We're finding out what is it that we are currently offering in our district and what needs to be taken away so we can keep the main thing. In addition to that, we're also focusing on safety and security. We're definitely looking at how can we make sure that not only our parents feel safe sending their kids to school, but then how do we work with our kids so they also feel safe in school, as well as our teachers and administrators in our school. So we're really thinking about, from a communication standpoint, a lot of it is really looking at the message that we're sending to our parents and hearing their voice, providing opportunities for them to share what their concerns are from a very transparent standpoint. We understand where we are. We don't make excuses for where we are, but it's our responsibility to take where we are, develop a detailed plan, and move forward and make sure that our parents and our community are part of that plan.
You know, I've interviewed 3 other superintendents. We interviewed Klein, Conroe, and Katie, and one of the things that I heard them all say was tragedy can happen in any school district, and that when it happens, it's how you react to it that's so important. And I feel confident that going forward that your reaction will be very different than the reactions of the past. And I think that is what the families want and what the teachers want. I mean, from what I've heard, that's really what people want, is that transparency and that communication. So I'm glad that you've made that a priority this year.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and the website for Spring ISD, if people are interested in checking you guys out. Yes,
www.springisd.org.
All right. Fantastic. And there's some surveys on there as well, and you can learn more about the school district. And we have had on Klein, Spring, Conroe, and Katie ISD superintendents today. If you missed any of the show, you can go go to HoustonRealEstateRadio.com and see the videos of all of those segments if you're interested. If you want to tweet in your questions, you can tweet us using hashtag HRER or call in your real estate questions 281-882-8088. We'll be back next Sunday between 11 and noon right here on KTRH, and we have got an exciting show for you next week as well. We'd like to wish you a great weekend. Enjoy. We'll see you next week on Houston Real Estate Radio.
Thank you.